Tickets and information at Mama's Italian Kitchen, 232 William Street, Middletown, 860-346-6100. You're listening to 88.1 FM WESU Middletown, a community service of Wesleyan University. Up next is The Business Buzz with Jeff Sherman, taking a look at innovative and cool technology and businesses right here in Connecticut. Catch The Business Buzz each and every Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. as part of our Monday through Friday 4 p.m. local talk block, only on 88.1 FM WESU Middletown.
The Business Buzz on WESU is proudly sponsored in part by Carlson and DeMere, located right here in downtown Middletown. Carlson and DeMere providing legal representation for victims of serious injury and for those facing criminal charges. On the web at carlsondemere.com, 860-819-1034.
Together, as our nation reflects on the state of our union. This is a difficult task. Many have spent the last year anxious, angry, afraid. We all feel the fractured fault lines across our country. We hear the voices of Americans who are forgotten and feel forsaken. We see an economy that makes stocks soar, investor portfolios bulge, and corporate profits climb, but fails to give workers their fair share of the reward.
Welcome to The Buzz. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman. We have Dr. Eric Glopkin and Chris Callander. So what do you think? What do you think about the state of politics? Do you think there will be a blue wave in November?
I hope so.
Do you really? Why? What about the Democratic Party that's so compelling for you?
The fact that the other party always talks about how things make them feel instead of following the law.
What? I think the Democratic Party is the party of emotion. There is no analytics.
Then I was backwards. I mean, the Democrats are the ones that...
so you don't want a blue wave, meaning a Democratic victory in November.
We're back to that brain damage part. Anyway.
There you go.
The Democrats always talk about when you bring up the wall or the southern border, they bring up someone who has came here and now has kids here. And
is a MIT graduate, yep.
And why am I a criminal? You can't treat me like a criminal. And... try any other area of the world and cross their border and see what happens.
It probably won't. It probably will not go well. So here's the only thing, because we do have a problem with the Studio B thing. Here's what I think. Do you think that identity politics is been so ingrained that economic prosperity will not, no pun intended, will not overdo that in terms of in November?
I think they're showing their true colors by, I'm not going to listen to you no matter what you have to say type of thinking.
Do you think they're scared that they're out of ideas?
It seems like it. I mean, you hear some things about talk across the aisles, and you're like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. And then they get a sticking point with, well, I offered this before, but now I won't offer it to you because... it's past that point.
Now, do you think, before we let you go because of the Studio B problem, do you think that the Democrats would be well served to, let's just say, sideline Chucky Schumer and maybe Nancy Pelosi? Maybe it'd be time for someone that really can connect with people, maybe?
I do think that there are a lot of politicians that are of a different age in terms of what they understand the world to be, and they haven't changed with the times.
Say that again?
A lot of the politicians have been in politics for so many years that they don't understand what the real world is like.
That I agree with, and that's one of the big problems with
both
parties. They have no clue.
I was excited about getting a president that wasn't a lawyer.
But don't you understand? He's been rejected by the body politic because He's not part. It could be anyone. It's not just Trump. And any outsider, Mr. Smith goes or Mrs. Smith goes to Washington, would be rejected. We got to let you go because of the problem. I'll throw out to Studio B. Thanks a lot.
New York, everything seems to be, anti-Trump. It's bombarding and going after him. And it's, oh, my God, we have to get rid of him. And as soon as they went to the middle of the country, all of that vanished. There was none of it. So you're really talking about, going back to echo chambers, the folks on the coasts not understanding what the rest of the country is going through.
And I think it's a great point, Eric. I think the Democrats believe that how they're attempting to run the minority party should be working, and it's not working. But they've doubled down, tripled down. But I think you're right. In Connecticut and in the East Coast, West Coast, it's different than the rest of the country. But how is it going to play out come election time?
Well, that's what we have to see. I mean, remember, Trump primarily won because of Middle America, because even places that were traditionally Democrat went, this is not working. We need something new. And now you've got Amazon building new headquarters and Apple's building new headquarters, and taxes went down, so people are getting raises. This is all based on what's going on in Middle America. That's what's going to, either make a blue wave or kill a blue wave.
I don't know, but are people more indoctrinated, Chris, with, like, let's say, identity politics, emotional politics, than what used to work the economy?
I don't think so. I think people will still respond to what's in their family's best interest financially and their self-interest economically, job-wise, financially. I believe that still has the overriding impact. And we've talked about this on the show. For a long time, America was underperforming under both George W. Bush and President Obama, a bipartisan comment. And if America gets on a run, on a tear economically like it is now, I believe a lot of people will think differently over the next few years than they did previously, because winning economically, having a better job, having more money will have an impact if it happens.
If it doesn't happen, then there will be a blue wave. No question about it. Correct, Dr. Lockett?
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking, actually, what we really need? We need, in the next week or two, I think it's coming up, we need a U.S. Olympic ice hockey victory against the Russians.
Oh, God.
That's what we need. Because everything that we've been talking about, it's the same as it was back in the Carter administration. We had this malaise. We needed something to kick us out of it. Trump has actually done a pretty good job kicking us out of that malaise.
I agree with you, but I disagree with you. I agree with you that we're in a malaise, but I think the malaise was more situational back then. I think a lot of our malaise now is due to the great political divide.
Yes, there's no doubt the cause is different.
It is more ingrained. Chris, would you agree with that?
You're absolutely right. That
it's not just because the economy sucks or there's gas
correct.
lines.
But I think if you say, we're a third Republican, a third Democrat, and a third could flow back and forth, they're independent, I think that the party that wins economically, like Trump might be able to do, he's gotten off to a good start, still a lot to play out, that other third that's kind of flexible will come to the side of more business-friendly, economic freedom, low taxes, reduced regulatory. They will flow to that side. You'll still have, like our first caller, listen, I mean, there's probably nothing is going to happen where he would vote for a Republican.
Right.
But there are lots of other people, and to Eric's point, that are in the middle part of the country that are a little bit more fluid in their thinking and their voting, and they can be swayed. And if America gets on a winning streak, I believe that they will be swayed. And I'll predict right now, I think Donald Trump will get reelected, and the first call will be very, very upset because he'll still be calling in perplexed on how Donald Trump is the president. But I think he will win, and I think he'll win by a bigger margin this time than he did last time, a la Ronald Reagan.
Dr. Lopkin, do you agree with that?
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I mean, at this point, even the high...
Okay, well, how about the investigation, though?
The investigation's going to keep going on because it's a political investigation. These
but wait a
things
second,
never
aren't
go
you
away.
concerned that you look into something? You could look into Dr. Eric Lopkin, and you may even find something there. I mean, you look hard enough, you're going to find something.
If you keep looking, you'll find something.
So he's going to find something.
In my own case, if somebody wants to look at me, I think they're going to die of boredom before that thing comes up.
I was making a joke, obviously, but the point is, Chris, he'll find something, don't you think? Now, they've shifted from Russian collusion. Now it's obstruction of justice.
Yes, there's less talk about collusion these days. I don't think there'll be much there.
But he's got to find something. It's like, I really believe it's a business. I really do believe that. If you're charged with growing sales, what are you going to come back and say, I can't really grow sales. It's not in. You're going to come back with something. They're going to have to come back with something.
I would love, if there happens to be any lawyers listening, please call in, because I would love to get an answer to the question. If Trump was not guilty of collusion, can he be guilty of obstructing an investigation rather than just, no, he's protecting his innocence. If he's not protecting guilt, can there really be obstruction?
Yes.
Obstruction to me is a crime, quasi-crime that it's a blanket you can throw over anything.
It's a tool. It's a tool that attorneys have that lends itself to being abused because they have tremendous discretion. It was Donald Trump telling Comey, "Hey, go easy on my guy Mike Flynn." Obstruction in the same way as if I burn, a few dozen files,
or like Hillary smashing her hard drive.
Yes, exactly.
860-685-7700, 685-7700. Very interesting times, without a doubt. I think that I'll throw it to Chris first. I think that the dossier unveiling, whatever you want to, it was highly overrated.
Oh my goodness! And this highlights how incompetent the Republicans can be in the Congress and in the Senate because. It's just there's nothing there. I mean, this is talk about driving up ratings and then not delivering the goods. Yeah. It doesn't seem like there was nothing there. Maybe there was some.
I was expecting this whole thing. No, seriously, I was expecting this. And how brain dead is our government? We can't release this. This is There was nothing there. What are you talking about?
And that's the other thing. I mean. Given what was actually in this, which, had all of the impact of, a puddle, why was there such an outrage to keep it under wraps?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
there was nothing there. All of a sudden, I'm looking up for the breaking news, and it was like the dossier was a fake. Okay, I already knew that, and the investigation was pretty much based on that. Okay.
Right, we knew this. This isn't new.
It shows you, like Chris said, you meet more talented people in an hour in business. I mean, am I crazy or something wrong here?
Both sides. I mean, Nunes completely oversold it. In business, you're supposed to under-promise, over-deliver. They did the exact opposite. And then the Democrats were, just having fainting spells over this. If I was them, I would have been like, go ahead. Release it. Let's go back to talking about something else.
Let's talk about the fainting spells. Instead of going outrage, you just should, because
there was nothing in there to hide.
You want to do it later today? You want to do it in the morning, Jeff? That doesn't really matter to me. And let's go back to talking about DACA.
But does it really point to it's a whole thing that people assume these people are talented? To me, how talented can you be? Is we're going to release. We have to scrub it and then the FBI. I'm getting a little scared about the FBI because they were all up in arms about what? It's like Chris.
It was much ado about nothing.
Yes, Chris Calandra goes on a radio show. I'm going to release that soon.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing.
That's pretty much what it was. Yes.
And Dr. Lopkin got a haircut.
There you go.
There you go. And I need one.
So let's turn the question on you. With this investigation, how does this play out for the Donald Trump's administration, or at least through, say the next year? Does the investigation get closed? Does it stay open?
No, I think it's perpetual. I'll go back to Ken Starr.
Yep.
Okay. Now I voted for Clinton. Okay, and that was a 200-pound tick on his leg for like 6 years. I mean, it went from Whitewater.
That's right.
To Travelgate. These things evolve. They never stop.
They keep moving
forever.
on. There's always something else. They'll, again, they've already moved on from collusion. Now it's obstruction. Obstruction will lead to something else when they can't prove that. And it'll go on for 8 years.
Yeah, and then they'll do something about something. I don't know. But even if he releases, it's not going to be a clean bill of health. He'll say, although we could not prove,
right,
but there was a lot of things that were not exactly kosher.
But you think they will get a trophy in someone. It may not be Donald Trump, but they will take down somebody more substantial than who they've nailed so far, which includes like Paul Manafort.
Manafort's screwed.
I think Manafort is the trophy. I think that's all they're going to get from it.
I don't know about that. I think Trump could open up his fat mouth, during the interrogation, whatever interview.
What makes you say that he might say something?
And he'll say something stupid.
I can't imagine him doing
He'll
that.
say something stupid. And that's the other thing is, speaking of saying something stupid, you got to give a lot of credit to Kelly because Trump had a great State of the Union. And then you would think, usually, that he would tweet out something about a rock star or something, right? Something stupid. Right. Or about Miss America 20 years ago was overweight or something. He's shut up. Chris, are you shocked at that?
I think they hit his phone.
Yeah, I do think, listen, he's still a raw political operative. So he's learning, and I do think that he's showing a little more restraint now than he did 8 months ago. He is learning all presidents learn on the job, but I think especially for him with his lack of political experience, he's learning on the job. So I think kudos to whoever is in his ear about, don't keep doing all these self-inflicted wounds. You don't have to fight with everybody all the time.
Dr. Lopkin, to Chris's point, he's at about 50% approval. Do you know that?
He's going. You also have to remember the approval ratings are very.
Oh no, and by the way, Harry Truman had it like in the 20s.
Right.
So it's like, and I remember Reagan's first year, he was like in the toilet too. So
yes. But what amazes me is that all of the polls got the Trump election wrong. They were all skewed towards Hillary because that's who they poll. They haven't changed their methodology, so they're still not polling Trump supporters.
Yeah, but my other question, Chris, I agree with that, Dr. Lopkin, but if he didn't shoot himself in the foot and if he wasn't such a dumbass, don't you think his rating, I think he would be in great shape?
If he could be a little bit more discriminating in who he picks fights with and the timing of when he does it and be a little bit more strategic, it would do him a world of good. We've talked on the show, and he just has an amazing ability to pick and get into fights with everyone.
It's exhausting.
That's exactly right. And sometimes he's really skilled. He picks good people to get into a battle with, and he puts the other side in a predicament because they look so unbelievably bad, especially because they think that he's not smart and he out strategizes them.
I think he's turned the media on their butt.
Yes.
He has rattled CNN's cage. Am I correct?
He really has. They don't know what to do. They're still going on and on. It's like, we can't believe we got this so wrong. It's still that same mindset. And every time he comes back with something, it starts all over again.
I think actually, to Lopkin, to your point 5 years ago, Chris, I think watching any of the news, it's pretty boring because if you listen to Fox, it's like, Sean, and then MSNBC is like basically certifiable.
Getting news from MSNBC is a lot
like getting ice from a volcano.
No. It's like talking to your friend who read a summary of an article from the New York Post, and they're telling you what they remember from it. I mean, we're not talking about great news anymore. And it really drives me. I mean, I spent a lot of years as a journalist, and the state of the media is truly upsetting to me. Because now, I mean, when I was a reporter, if you did not have 3 independent sources, your story did not go out. Now, the only source you need is a tweet.
Or an anonymous source. Is just one anonymous source will do the trick, and they'll go front page with that.
Right. If we had anonymous sources, we had to verify. We had to have at least 3 independent sources where this news was coming from. Now, oh, well, they said this. Quick, get it out. We'll worry about if it's right later. Just get it out.
860-685-7700, 685-7700, 685-7700. Chris, does that concern you, to Dr. Lopkin's point, that we went from journalism in the 50s, quasi-journalism in the 70s and 80s, and now it's just unbridled partisanship?
It's very unhealthy for the country that the media is not doing its job. What is the negative, what is it, like 92% of the coverage of Donald Trump in the first year was negative. I'm sorry, that number should not exist.
Can I ask you a marketing question, Mr. Calandra?
Yeah.
Years ago, I believe it's maybe before you came on the show, I told Dr. Lopkin I thought CNN was going to win in the ratings because they staked out the middle of the road because of Dr. Lopkin's great theory, by the way, about the left and right media.
Sure.
They completely squandered that, Chris, didn't they? They could have been, because you got 2 points. You got MSNBC on one side, Fox on the other. They could have been the purveyor of the middle, but they just lost it.
They just lost it?
Yes. And let me ask you a question, seriously. Is it like, okay, I remember CNN with Larry King, and I used to watch it almost every night.
Yeah.
I got to be, okay, Anderson Cooper, nice guy. 2 hours, I think it's kind of, enough. Dr. Lopkin, enough is enough?
Yes.
I mean, really, come on. Please, stop. Make it stop. I mean, and even if you hate Trump, which is fine, do you really want to, I liked Ronald Reagan. I'm not going to watch a show that just has tributes. No, like 24 hours.
Right.
And you have a panel, and they talk about how great, they have a little bust of Ronald Reagan, and they just talk about, so Chris, tell me, why do you think Ronald Reagan was so great?
Yeah.
And Dr. Lopkin, what do you think his best achievement was? I mean, okay.
That's right.
Right. It's like enough, yes.
I get it. Like, is Trump really Joseph Mengele's great-great-grandson? It's like, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Let me just throw this out. Dennis Prager is a conservative columnist, talking head kind of thing. I don't think he's really all that famous, but he wrote a great article this week, and he talked about, because he was anti-Trump, and he said he was wrong. And one of the things he pointed to is that we have, for the first time, a Republican leader who does not care what the press says, and that's
killing the press, though. It is destroying.
But
that's eating them alive.
That's the key to his success. Mitt Romney tried to get the media to like him. John McCain tried to get the media to like him. George W. Bush tried to get...
Can I interject one thing about John McCain?
Yeah.
I actually think, I'm serious, that it's a good thing Obama won. I think McCain is really nutso nuts. I'm not talking about the brain problem. I mean the cancer.
Right.
He's unhinged. Now, you were a big supporter of McCain.
I was. I actually
Now, is he unhinged or not?
I worked on the McCain campaign back in 2000 when he ran against George W. Bush.
Did he not become unhinged?
I don't know who this person is. It's not the person that I campaigned for.
He's got a hair-trigger temper. He's never met a war he doesn't like. I mean, it's like, Rhode Island did something we could bomb them.
I don't know if I
bomb them.
It's like, I don't know if I completely agree with it's a good thing Obama won, because I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back with McCain.
Oh, he never got it. That's why he has to be. And you know what? He's a useful idiot, too, because that's why he's on all the shows, because he's really not really a conservative or Republican anymore. It's like Flake.
Yep. Same thing with Lindsey Graham and the Bill Cristols of the world that used to be.
Now, let me ask you about Bill Kristol. That whole shtick is over. I mean, you don't even see him anymore. It's like, goodbye.
No, he's on MSNBC now.
Oh, get out.
Yeah, I saw him last night on MSNBC.
Do you know what his papers sell the Hartford Courant might have a higher subscription base.
But it is true. You talk about what's happening in the media and they're lost. When you have a president that purposefully, he simply does not care what they say, that's a problem for them because they want to have influence. I mean, that's their shtick, and he doesn't care.
But he does shoot himself in the foot.
Oh my God!
Yes, he does.
I mean, and
by the way, he's got to get out of his own way.
Yeah. By the way, he's got an infantile ego, and if he didn't shoot himself in the foot, I like the tweets. By the way, no, the press harps on the tweets because they hate it because it goes around them.
That's right.
But you can't tweet about the milkman is an idiot because he delivered frozen milk.
Yes.
I mean, you got to chill, dude. You
Yes.
know. You know, it was crazy. And even the election, I mean, about the Muslim couple, I mean, you know, and then the Miss Universe who was too fat or
Yes.
too, you know, really. Oh, yeah.
That stuff is beneath him, and it doesn't do him any good. When he does crying Schumer,
I love that.
That's good.
Right.
What do you think of crying?
Is
Chuck Schumer like one of the most disingenuous people ever?
Well, he's lost it. And I honestly believe him, Malloy, because they were all set to be the Democratic leadership. Hillary was going to win. Schumer was going to be in charge of the Senate. Malloy was going to get a cabinet. And it all fell apart. And now they're just sitting there going, I don't know what to do.
Chris, how funny it would be, because I think Dr. Lopkins, right? You know, Malloy helped write the Democratic economic platform. That's like me.
He chaired the committee.
Writing doing a trading manual for the NBA. Like you know, and you go jump shots here. Yeah, it's like the person that almost single-handedly destroyed Connecticut's economy is going to write the blueprint.
And by the way, new poll came out. Malloy was voted the most hated governor in America.
Even liberals hate him.
Everybody hates him.
He's an equal opportunity guy. Gentlemen, great show. Dr. Eric Lopkin, Chris Calandra, all the callers. We cleared the echo chamber due to my great brilliance and insight.
Oh, geez.
And we will be back next week with another exciting edition of the Buzz, soon to be Carnivore Radio. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back next week.